Just aside, one of my early experiences with Linux, I put it on a machine. I had to go in the file in order to change on your to give refresh rate. I got refresh rate for I turned the boom, blew up the monitor. It's the only time I ever have a big boom of smoke out of it. Just to actually break the screen. Blew up. I probably something back there. I just found it. I'm not happy. Yeah. When I was a kid, they used to say not to sit too close to the TV, and actually you really shouldn't. The first color is way electric screen. They got a lot more radiation through it than they needed to for the color. In fact, the colors were really horrible. Those first color TVs. So they actually were emitting a fair amount of radiation. Later, they found out they could get better results with a whole lot less power going through it. And then LEDs are, as I said, much better. Or even.
I had a cousin that sat like this when he was a kid, up by the TV.
Yeah.
Telling him not to. And he died of a brain tumor. And that's the only person that's ever died of a brain tumor.
Yeah, it could be from that. It could be from a lot of other things too. But there was radiation from it, and the main thing they were saying would probably happen is cataracts. And that was true of the old computer monitors too. Is that they tend to feel cataract. I've spent a lot of years on computer monitors. I don't know if that's worse than spending years in bars. Different thing.
How would you spend time on your computer monitor at the bar?
Yeah, you could do that now.
I've seen
now that I don't go to bars anymore. Yeah.
I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, everywhere I go, people have their computer, or if you have your phone, which is a computer. So we're going to do a new project. Actually, not a new project. It's still file website. So file new website. We're going to do it empty. There are templates for these, but again, they give you a ton of code, and I think it's better to generate it on our own. We're still going to get a lot of code we didn't generate, but and I'm just going to say, what do I want to do? This is let's call it book service. So the example I'm going to do, we'll use the book review database. And then, and that's actually what that document does too. Can you see? Is it not clear? I just called it book service because it's going to be a service. It's going to be a web service kind of thing. Now, a couple of things about this when we make this as a web service. I'm going to make it just local so it runs. We'll have to actually have 2 copies running. One copy of Visual Studio will be running the service, and the other copy will be running the website when we finish that. Normally you would want to, probably instead of doing it on file system, you would want to go to IIS. The reason I'm not doing that right now is that means you would totally not be able to take it home and work on it if you wanted to do that. The other thing is that configuring IIS, has anybody ever done that? Internet Information Service. Microsoft's Apache. You've done a little, it's a pain.
Oh yeah. You don't get it exactly right, everything goes up.
Yeah.
It doesn't even give us the option for IIS.
Well, the option would be HTTP,
Oh, HTTP.
but don't do it.
Okay.
Because you have to go in and you have to set like about 15 or 20 variables in IIS to make sure that it'll run, because IIS is really locked down. It's not permissions are difficult to come by in there. And I have done it. I've made it at home. I can run my stuff in IIS just fine, but I don't remember how I did it. So every time I do it, I have to go through and play with every variable again. So we'll just do it in the book, the service here. So we'll just do the local. I'm going to do OK. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to bring up the Solution Explorer, though. So there's a couple of things that we need to do in this book service. One is we're going to need the data layer, basically. So we're going to still do the ADO entities. And I think we'll do that first. The order doesn't matter too much here.
Are you recording?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I started it.
You did.
I did, okay. It would help to have a memory longer than 30 seconds. That might be from those old color TVs too, I don't know. We used to go to our neighbor's house to watch Gilligan's Island because it was the only show in color.
Yeah, my neighbors had a color
And Flipper.
TV.
Which is maybe saying how old I am. But let's go to add. Now, do you have ADO.NET Entity Data Model down here? You don't? So if you don't, go to add new item. Why it should have. So the ADO Entity Data Model, anyway, usually after you've used it, it's there. Sort by. There it is at the top. So I'm going to call it book. Actually, I'm just going to call it BR model. I think I have a book review model. So this is an empty website. So I'm going to add this. And I will do yes on this.
This is frozen.
You're frozen again? We're adding the ADO entities, which we've done before. So again, we're going to do it from the database. And we'll do next. And basically, I have the book review, but I'm going to make a new connection just because I'm not. Well, I will do a new connection. Are we localhost?
Yeah.
I have 3 virtual machines. Some are SQL Express, some are localhost. I forget which is which. So I'll do book review again. And I think everything there is fine. I'm just going to do next. Yeah.
How do I reconnect to my data?
Oh, that's as well.
Yeah. It says right click down here, computer management.
It's just empty.
Yeah. So I gotta go.
Did it give you an error? Or just
Did you try typing it in?
click on new connection? Now do localhost. And then do the drop down. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And then the book review.
Which one of these is it? The top one? Or the
Second one, actually. Yeah, right click and start.
Wait, so today.
Anyone else?
Which model did you use?
The first one.
Oh, that's what I got. Then I got this.
Yeah, so I did a new connection. You could actually probably go with that old connection because I just, yeah.
And the server name is local.
Yours may not be the same. Do you remember if you have localhost or SQL Express? Here's a quick test. See if there's any. Yeah, so just dot backslash SQL Express.
Yeah, because
All right.
everybody's behind.
And again, I'll guide you through if need be. I haven't had to because you usually catch up, but
Yeah, you might need to post
No,
it
I've already taken the
on
for you.
the
Get to a
website
point where
or
you're
whatever. 'Cause this is doing what it did last time. where-
so every step I'm doing here too is also in that PDF. And there's also a blog thing for this. So, but I will post what we do too. So I'm going to do next. Now the things that we need to do here, and you could, if you want, just bring all the tables in here, but I'm basically going to, we probably need author book, because we're going to do a new review. Category, I may ignore that, but we can do that. I guess I need everything. I also need the new reviewer and the reviewer login.
Is that in the store?
Yeah, so under the store procedures, I need the two USP.
Okay.
And the first year.
There's nothing in views.
Oh, well, let me click. Oh, there we go. Just my mouse.
I think maybe it's finally unfroze.
Okay, good. It won't take you too long to catch up.
So we're doing a quick service?
So it was just a new empty website. All right, so questions on this. Basically, I'm taking all the tables and I'm going to take the last two store procedures. The theory is, so if you looked at the assignment, it's going to have you log in. Last time we did a donation. This time it's going to be asking for a grant. That's sort of what the assignment is.
What's the difference?
But
What's the difference?
oh, so there are people that donate to the charity, and then there are people that are asking for money from the charity. Asking for a grant is asking for money from the charity.
Okay.
And you have to enter like what kind of grant you want. There's a list of them you can choose from.
Okay. That
And
makes sense.
You click OK on this.
yeah, you should click OK on the security. Again, tell it not to show me that message because it's the best hint that it's working. And it usually it's almost always 2 times.
Yeah, just take a second. Are you sure?
And then I'm going to save it after I look at the thing.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to save it and I'll get the security warnings again. I have found sometimes if you do not save it, and you need to save it with the individual disk there, that it will not recognize this. We had that problem, right? So, and I do not know why.
So use the multiple.
No, use the single disk. It's almost like it has to be saved individually for it to work. All right, so to add an ADO entities. So just, right click, add. It should be in your list. If it is not, do add new. And we want the ADO entities. They're in there. An easy way to do it would be to click it there and do make ascending. And go to the very top. And models, okay, just do add. And then yes. Next. You can probably get by with that one. Do next. It's an existing connection, but it's fine.
I should, but I feel like I'm really.
It would- So that's actually all I'm going to do with this for right now. We just need it there. You guys okay with that? Anybody not have it work? error occurred. Do okay. Primary connection. Do local post. Drop down so the databases are there. Is your database not down? Right click over here. Okay, that on the Windows. Right click. And into computer management. We'll go on to the next one here in a moment.
I have more data that's coming to, and I got a warning that it could destroy the computer.
What? Ignore the
Yeah,
warning.
okay. Yeah.
Do services and applications.
Double click.
Double click. Do SQL Server configuration. SQL Server Services. Take the second one, right click, and start. It should go with the second. Okay, be able to close that. Do okay. See if you can find your databases. You might have to start that. So yeah, do a new connection, local. There you go. Do the book review on this one. Okay. Next. Next. Add all these tables. Yeah. Just hit all the DBO. Do the store procedures. Open the DBO and do the last two USB ones. And then just do finish. And when it's done, so you'll have a couple of security warnings. Just say okay. And hopefully it won't take forever. All right, so now we're going to add this service. Are you guys ready?
What would you say, what is this that we have?
Right now, this is what we did last time too. This is just the ADO data entities. Right, so if you remember, what this has done is it's created a data layer for us with a class for every table. It also knows the relationships, which is nice because you can actually insert into multiple tables and read from multiple tables without doing joins, because the joins will be pre-done. So this, basically what this is a model of the data layer. And as I said, there's also classes, a written class for each table. And it did that for us. And it keeps track of a lot of what's in these collections are about relationships. Basically treats them as arrays or collections of things. You're welcome to read through this code. It's all auto-generated. It is stuff you can mess with, but you shouldn't unless you know what you're doing. Notice it says at the top, it is auto-generated. Manual changes to this file may cause unexpected behavior. Manual changes to this file will be overwritten if the code is regenerated. So again, changes in this are something you have to think about and know what you're doing. Generally, if there's problems, it's better to just go to the top at the app code level, delete it, the whole folder, and run it again. That's a whole lot easier than trying to troubleshoot this.
By run it again, you're doing one.
Running the ADO wizard again.
Oh, so you just delete everything?
Yeah, just now when we add the service, you might not want to delete the service. You know, if you were to rerun this.
Just anything that's
Yeah.
associated with the model. Because in the last project, I don't have the auto-generated file. Actually access the classes.
Right. So what you want to do is, yeah, just delete all the model and run it again. Okay. The other thing about that is you'll have a second web config thing, and so probably instead of like community_assist entities, it'll be community_assist entities 1. Okay. Yeah. So I am going to now, and you could do it at the app code, but I'm going to do it at the book service level. I'm going to add another thing. What?
Minute collapse.
Yeah, so are you in the, that was like the, let's see.
Sorry, I lost.
Go to the solutions.
I think that looks more like it.
Yeah. So I'm going to add a new item. And what I want to add is a WCF. So I'm just going to go through here. Are they in order? Not really. We want a WCF service. Don't make it Ajax enabled. I mean that we could, but we're not doing any Ajax at this point, so it doesn't make sense to do that. We also don't want the data service. The data service is the rest, the JSON one, and I haven't played with it enough to lead you through that yet. So let's just do the straight WCF service. I'm going to name it.
What if you don't have the WF service, the CF service on your page?
So I did add new.
It's way down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's way down there.
I don't have it.
You don't see
I
it?
did a solution explorer because I
I
had
did the
it.
solution explorer, I clicked on my solution, I want
Add
add
new.
new item. I'm gonna go to the pathways. And, oh, there it is. Oh, wait, I clicked add new in the other one. Yeah.
And add, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
This environment, the Visual Studio environment has so many options that it can get fairly confusing. It's neat if you, I mean, in terms of just the flexibility and power that you have, but it's a complex environment. So I just named it BR service. You could even just leave it service, but we actually are going to refer to this in code, so it would make sense to give it some kind of a name. You could also name it book review service. Should I name it that, or does BR service do it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Less typing.
So I'm going to do add. And it's going to give me two files. Notice it gives me the public interface, right? And it also gives me the actual service. So there's an IBR services. So the I means it's the interface. And then there is the BR service, which is the service itself. And it gives us a fake little method there that we can start with, which is do work. So this is the interface, and you need to, so I'm going to do a couple of things. One of the things we do want is that login. So that would return an int, right? I forget what I named it in the folder, but I'm going to say book review login. And it's going to take string user, string password. Now, here's the thing. What do you know? You have to figure out before you ever do this what it is you're doing in the service, right? And so I'm trying to kind of do what parallel to what's in the assignment. Logging in was one of the things we need to do. I need to add a new reviewer. So for that in the thing, I had it return a bool, and it could return a bool in the other one too, but that's all right. You guys know what a bool is? Yes, yes, no, true, false, yeah.
Did you remove the void do work?
I did. It doesn't matter. If the void do work is there, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do register Reviewer. And what I did in the PDF, I'm not sure I really need to do this. I created my own class called Reviewer Lite because there's a lot of fields in there I don't need to populate. And I called it R locally. Now, this is going to stay underlined until we create that class.
It's supposed to be IE.
What do you mean?
Is it? Oh, sorry.
Can you scroll your screen up so it's a little higher?
I'm just trying to think of what else we need. We want to add a review ultimately too. Notice each of these has an operation contract. The operation contract part is, I think, unique to WCF. You don't have to have those in the usual interface. These are, I never will see them again except in this context, but these are compiler directives.
Why would my operations on contract be underlined?
I don't know, but
Semicolon after the.
What do you mean it's the operation contract?
but do you have a?
In the parentheses.
It's not
On
correct
the brackets.
in the square brackets.
Mine was too until I finished that line under it.
Service model is up there. Where did it not rise up there? How about your cursor? What did it say?
Okay, or community-based operation contract, it should be not be found from the senior
Directive. Shouldn't be. Let's look at the top. Service system, system service model. You have that, right? I actually don't know. I'll look again in a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
This is going to, as I said, will remain this way until we create a class of that name. I think that we will need, so this is to register a reviewer. We will need a, probably a bool, maybe do it new review. And I'm just going to do review R. It doesn't matter, these are different contexts, but we could, let's just do it as R. So I'm trying to think of all the things that I'm going to need in here. And it is possible that you would want to break this into more than one service so that you could focus things a little tighter. Yeah.
What's the purpose of having operation contracts in between every single line of code?
So if you don't have operation contract in front above the method, it will not complain. It'll be a method, but it would only be internal. It won't be passed to the client.
Okay.
So the operation contract tells us that these are part of what needs to be passed to the client.
Okay.
And it does it method by method, because it is possible you could have methods that are purely for internal use. Though you wouldn't necessarily need to put them in the, yeah.
I'm not sure why I'm getting an error review in the parentheses.
Should be there. Save your, go to your diagram for your over here. Let me just see it a little bit more. I think it's that. It's do the EDMX. The top BR model with EDMX. Right there. Down. Save that. We're giving you an error. Go back and see if it's any better, I guess. Because you should have review. Review or light, we don't have review. You should be able to see. Yeah. Do this disk. I mean, go back to the designer. Do that disk. It should give us some error or some warnings. And then we go back. We're not there. Let me look here in a minute. Might need to rerun that. I am going to get all the reviews for a particular. So I actually have the operation contract already, don't I? So I'm going to return a list with a review type, so a list of reviews, and we'll call it get reviews, and it'll take int.
Can you scroll down?
Yeah. So this will allow us to return a list of all the reviews for a particular reviewer. Because I think one of the things that I said, kind of like we did last time, we got all the donations for a particular donor. I'm going to have to get all the grant requests for a particular grant fee. So this will be similar to that. And the only other thing I could think is we probably want a list of authors. Now let's see, when I do a review, we'd want to be able to see the books, right? I don't know if I need to see the author, but I might want a list of books. So I'm going to do one last operation contract. Is it still giving me it hasn't fixed that? Try building it. Go up to the menu and do view project build.
Can you just hit build?
Well, open the menu and then do, hit build and then do build solution. This is the top option. So you have errors. Still can't find review. I will look. You added all the tables, so they should be there. In fact, we saw it. I'll look at it in a moment.
Just redo it.
Yeah, you could just redo the, not everything necessarily. You could just redo the ADO. So delete the ADO entities. So everything but the services in here,
Just
all the way down to,
delete.
yeah, click there and then do shift down to there and delete all of that. And then run the ADO wizard again. All right, so I'm going to do a list of books. That should be a capital B. Get books. And I think I'm going to make this simple and not try to add new books and new authors and things. So this is our interface. I need to do a data entity thing or a data contract for reviewer. Although we could just do reviewer there if you want. The thing about reviewer is it has fields that I don't necessarily want to enter, but we could. What do we got under reviewer? Maybe just do reviewer. Make our life easier. I want to look at reviewer though. So when we look at reviewer, got username, first name, last name, email. So it's the key code and the hashed. There's lots of things in there that we don't need. That's why I did reviewer light. So I'm going to go revert back to reviewer light. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to create a data contract. So it will have a data contract, compiler directive. It is a class. And I think it needs to be a public class. Reviewer light. Curly braces. Notice reviewer light is happy up there now. And then I need to give it all the fields that we need. So we need like last name, first name. So I'm going to do string last name. And I'm going to do sets and gets for those. Remember I showed you this, it's a shortcut. The other thing is, if I don't do this, I need one more thing here. Two things I need to do here. Data member. And I do need to make this public also. If you don't say it's a data member, again, it won't complain, but you won't be able to see the field when we do the coding later. I'm just going to copy that, and I will do first name. I thought I capitalized the N. Oh well. I'm going to just paste it again. We need their email. What else do we need? That's not what I want. This one. So we got email. We don't need the key code. We need their username. Their username is different than their email. I think that's it. Password, plain password. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. So let's do username. Capitalize that. Password. Habits. Is that all? Did I get everything I said? I don't know why that's got the little dots around it. I did rename last name to password. All right, last name, first name, email, username, password. I think that's all I need. So we're done with this part. And I don't know how far we'll get on the next part, but I will start it. Is it making sense? This is just a description of the service, right? This is an interface. It's a description of the service. We will, this is actually what will be sent to the client. though it'll be sent as XML, but we won't have to see that. I think what I'll do is we'll do one, I'll make the service, we'll do at least like one of these, and then we'll see how it works. Questions? Did yours work at all? When you redid it, it worked. So yeah, for the class, I have last name. Yeah, I have no idea why it has a square around password.
Yeah, hit enter after.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's just an update that is that line.
Yeah.
Although I'm getting a IntelliSense error for reviewer line that just gonna go away when I run it.
Well, it shouldn't. So
Yeah.
you did public. So this is outside the interface.
Oh, okay, so it's,
So the interface is closed.
all right, that's what
This could actually be on a separate page. This could be a separate file. But that's a bit of a pain to do too.
no, that's what it was.
Other questions on this? I'm going to show you when we do this, you'll sort of see how the interface works in about 1 second. But before I leave it, is there anything else you guys need on this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual service. So notice it implements the IBR service. If you've never done C#, and I doubt if in Python you did inheritance either, this little colon in C# means both implement interface and inherit. If you did Java, in Java you actually have two different words. You have extends for inheritance and implements for a interface. So the reason why this is underscored is we haven't actually implemented that interface, right? None of our methods are here. So you could painfully type in all of those method signatures, or you can mouse over. Notice all these things just say it does not implement the different things. So I'm going to mouse over. Notice we get the stupid little light bulb with the drop down. So what I am going to do is I'm going to click on that, and it says, do you want to implement the interface? And I am going to click on that, and now I have all of those methods. They're empty. Now public work can go away because we did that. So let me delete, I'll delete everything in here, and I'll do it again. So when I do that, again, this is underscored because we don't have it. Remember, there's this little light bulb. Mouse over, and there's a little light bulb. And if you go to the little drop down beside it, it has implement interface. If I click on that, I now have every method that we wrote. They're empty, but they're all there. This actually works in Java too.
We want to get rid of the do work.
Yeah, the do work, can we keep that?
You don't need to do work. You can delete it. The do work it's not part of the interface.
Okay.
Couple of things you should know. If this isn't if those method signatures in here are not an exact duplicate of the interface, it'll have errors. Right? These have to be the signatures, which is just the first line of each, has to be exactly the same as in the interface. So if you go and you change the interface, you're going to have to change it here. And vice versa, if you change something here, you're going to have to go change the interface. Right? They have to exactly match, or there will be errors.
I guess I have one on the book. Oh, maybe oh, it says books. Oh.
Yeah, the class name is book.
I must have messed it up on the.
Yeah, so change it on the interface and on both places. All right, so let's do just the first one here. Probably won't have much time. This is the login. So I'm going to get rid of that throw not implemented exception. And I am going to do int key. Right now I'm just going to do it as 0, and I'm going to return key. And the only reason I'm doing that right now is to get rid of the little underline, the red underline. All right, so we have just like we did before, except we're in this. So I'm going to do book review DB entities. Remember how I said it's always the name of the database plus the word entities. If you redid it, it might be like yours, Grace, might be with a 1 on it. You might have to add a 1, yeah. And then I'm going to do BRE, you can name it what you want, equals new book review entities. The only thing is, I think I'm going to move this. I am going to cut and paste it up above here. Anybody know why? It makes it global, and we're going to have to access it in every single method. So, it actually is a question. You'd have to really know your compilers and stuff as which is more efficient to put it at a global level where it's always there, or to open it and kill it with every method. Because if you do it in every method, you would open the class, finish it as soon as you're done with the method, it would close everything out again, and then it'd keep. To me, it makes more sense to put it up here than to do that. But. All right, so we want to. I'm going to do int result equals BRE dot. So we want the USP new reviewer login, and we need to pass it user and password. One of the things that'll kind of drive you nuts is that none of these have any values, right? So these won't have any values until we call them from the client, right? Then the client will pass it a username and a password. Right now, we're just taking whatever is there, and here they're just sort of empty. But we still do. So I'm going to do if result not equal -1. Remember, that's the result if it's bad. Then we want to go find the key for the user. Then key, well, actually, so let's do var k. What do I want to call it? ky equals from k in. Well, actually, I could just do. Yeah, k would have worked. From let's do from R and BRE.reviewers. Where R dot reviewer username equals user select R dot reviewer key, and I'm going to put that in parentheses and do dot first or distinct or first or default. This is just like we did last time, pretty much. You guys remember that? So we're going to, this assumes that it's a good, you know, that the hashes match. So now we're going to go find the username and we're going to get their key. So we can save it to a session. But we're not going to save it to a session here because there aren't any sessions associated with the service. So, but then I'm going to do, so we got key.
Is it just supposed to be reviewer key period instead of closed parentheses?
No, it's reviewer key parentheses.
Is it open close parentheses?
So here's the open.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the whole expression is in parentheses.
Okay, I see it.
And that, oh, int should have parentheses around it. I did it the opposite way. So key equals int ky. I could have just done k there. I was thinking that I didn't. So this will actually, this should be the whole method. And we can test it. I'm going to show you how you test it, and then we might call it good. So what we're doing, we've just declared the key is equal to 0. One of the things on the client side, if we return a 0 at the bottom, then it's an invalid login, right? There aren't any 0 logins. They always start with at least one. So this uses the store procedure that's in the database, just like we did last time. It compares the hashes. It hashes it again, checks the hash to see if it matches. If it doesn't match, it returns a -1. So if it does return a -1, it won't do anything in here, and the key will stay 0. If it isn't a -1, which means it's a valid login, and it's going to use that username to figure out what the reviewer key is, and it's going to return the reviewer key. So we can use that like in a session variable. I need to real quickly see a password. So I've got the database entities here, and we've got the tables. And we could look at a reviewer. So an easy way to do this is just show table data. So we've got Greg Martin, G Martin. Let's do Mary G, so it's not the first one. Mary G, and her password is it just Mary Pass? Mary G Pass. That's email. 2 after the email. Yeah, so it's just Mary password. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. Couple of things about this. When you run these, you need to run them from the service, or you'll get errors that you don't have permissions and things. Now, these don't have a front end, but they do provide you with a little test interface. All things, if everything works. So this is a little test interface that is adding in here. Slowly. Now, there's a couple of things here. Notice these ones with X's. There's all of the ones that we have are synchronous. Do you guys know what that means? And we're only going to do synchronous.
You have to wait for the service to.
You have to wait for the service to respond. You can also write asynchronous methods, which means that they'll do their thing and the web page can go on and do its stuff and it'll give it the answer whenever, right? They don't have to be waiting for it. But all of ours are synchronous, which means that it comes for it and it will wait until it gets an answer back. So I'm going to double click the login. It's the only one that's got it. Notice that it's got a couple of things up here for the user and the password. So you can provide the parameters, right? These would normally come from the web page, but we're just testing the service. So it was Mary G. and Mary password, right? All lowercase. All right, so I'm going to invoke that, and it tells me that it could be dangerous. And then it should give me, it gave me the value of 2, which is good, right? That's what her key was. She was the second in the list, so it gave me the value of 2. If I do an invalid password, so let's just change this to pass, and I invoke it, and I get the warning again, and I get the 0, right? So it's working. So you have this little interface that you can test it with. But it, you know, because you don't actually have an actual interface for this. These are just methods that will be passed to whatever web page. Questions on that? So let me review a little of what we did, and we'll call it good, and we'll finish. God, it's going to be a week. By the time we come back, none of this will mean anything to you again. So I'll review it again next time too, but we're building a service again. So a service exists without an interface. It's just called by a web page. And a web page can call 15, 20, 30 services. We're only going to call 1. But I mean, you could have all sorts of different services for your web page. And the advantage of that is that you can just add and remove services as you need on the website without having to rewrite your whole web page. You might have to just do a little tweak in the display. You can also, on the service side, you can, if you want to add features, you can. If you leave the interface the same, they can use or not use the features, so it doesn't break the web pages. And it allows for like continuous development of things. Yeah.
What are some real life examples of services being used on websites?
So pretty much any website that gives you like lists of hotels, lists of you know, travel, airlines tickets, and that kind of stuff. Actually, probably the ones that are giving you the bus information. One of the things too is that because the service doesn't have to reside on your machine, it's really good for apps. So when you're building things for a phone, so you don't have to build all this code on the phone, you can build it on a web server somewhere, and the phone just ties into that app, you know, to get the information that it needs. There are actually tens, hundreds of thousands of services out there, but they're invisible, right? Because web pages and the apps tie into them, and then they do with it, they make the display what they want. Weather services, I mean, a lot of things you do, like when you get an update, you're constantly getting an update of your web services. I mean, your weather is probably calling a weather service. We could actually, so I was going to have you, before we did this one, I was going to have you go out and find some of those public services. The trouble is that the free ones are amazingly unstable. The paid ones are pretty stable, but the free ones are there, and then they're not there, and then they're... So it's a little bit tricky to do that. So we created an empty website. We added the data layer, right? So the service will talk to the database. Our web pages will not. They'll talk to the service. Then we added a web service, and there's 2 parts to every web service. Is the interface, which is just a list of the methods. Just each method has just the name of the method, what it returns, and its parameters. That's what an interface is. It's basically a list of methods that you are going to require. When we went to the service, we implemented the interface, which means that we have every method that was in the interface is here, and we just need to give it a body. Does that make any sense? Okay. It's actually pretty neat stuff. And as I said, it's kind of intermediate to low advanced stuff. So you're getting good stuff. I don't expect you to remember it all. we'll do it. We'll play with it. The only thing is that I would hope when you leave this class is that if you get introduced to something like this again, you will have seen it and you will know what they're talking about, and you can pick it up again. You know, and again, this doesn't have to be done in .NET. This is not a .NET technology. This is a web technology in general. You could do these services in PHP or in Java or in anything, pretty much, in Python. Yeah.
I have red underlines on my IBR services. And maybe it won't help me figure out what it's causing.
So it doesn't recognize review.
I have to read about like what type of like how that collection myself house building.
Let's go to your designer.
Like the diode.
Yeah, do the EDM.
Around the diode.
One just below that. Right here. Right below that. Save it. Hit the signal disk.
Saturday,
Right there.
after
Yeah.
8-hour lecture on
Do
intensive.
okay.
Well, I'm gonna
There
go.
should be another one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You see. Okay. Now go back and make it in that fixed. When it's done saving. Now go back and see if it fixed.
I don't think this is the right page. Is that the right page?
It looks like your review is fine now. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
curious about my assignment too that I turned in a long time
Oh,
ago,
okay.
and I was wondering when it's gonna get regraded.
Oh, so if you returned it in, I'll do it again.
I'll just send a message just as a reminder.
Sure, do. I didn't grade in this class this weekend, and I usually do. I was home very little this weekend, so I didn't get a. This is the one class I didn't grade. But I will this weekend for sure. Okay.
I ran it and I didn't get anything.
You ran it from the wrong page,
Oh
so
my God.
you have to run it from the service, not the interface.
20,000 people, no power.
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Not the one with an I, the other one, the one right above it.
Oh my God, the constellations.
You guys want the code of this up somewhere now or wait?
I only have it coded up.
What? You want it up though?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You mean like you're gonna put it up, but we can then code it just now?
Well, so just an example of this one, just put it on GitHub or somewhere.
Okay, I mean, I have my example working, but it might be.
So all these fleas.
Thing is, there's one just like this on GitHub, but I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
So when you ran it, you got the WCF test client
Right.
with all those X's.
Right, so then you have to double click the
Guaranteed, but.
login,
We just fell like 3.5 miles.
and then you can provide a password and username.
A lot.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
what were the days and times that you know this room to be open again?
Well, it's almost always open Friday,
Okay.
and Saturday if you can get somebody to open the door. That's the only trick, is finding somebody who can open the door. There's a schedule on the door.
But
Friday will be what for me, yeah.
there's something on the suit that was slightly. Wasn't a shoe.
Okay, I think I'll just leave it at this.
No, he didn't change on the video. At the very end, he just flipped over on his back and went up.
All right, so let's go to GitHub. So if you're having, although your father's probably as good a resource as I have, actually. But if you need help, let me know. I did GitHub. I wanted to GitHub. I speak hunger.
Know what kind of workforce needs occur.
No, it's been here for a while. I'm taking my technician's exam this weekend. So I should have, but I want to make sure that
Am I asking too many off-base or
I want to be as cool as
distracting
this person
questions?
someday.
Uh,
I love him radio, but
Visualize.
sometimes the imagery is like, wow.
just a second and I'll. What was while you're closing up? I'm just gonna take a look at it in a second. How to build, not a repository, how to build a WCF service, create repository. All right, so, and then I want to upload files, choose files, Visual Studio, websites, book service. Commit this stuff. Changes. Okay, so I need to create a couple of folders. So create new file, app code. This can take a while. Actually, it didn't. That's good. All right.
Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too. All right, so let's go back. All right. So all the code is up there under book review service assignment 5. And I put everything you would need to run it. But let me know, as I said, if you need anything with this. And if you need to walk through it, talk through it, just let me know. We can spend some time doing that. This is some easy stuff, so, and you're doing it on a Mac, which is I have never actually actually, so are you using, you're using a virtual on the Mac, right?
Yeah, I got a virtual machine in there.
Oh, the other thing I should do in the,
Hey.
hello. What am I
I'm
doing?
just going to come in. I did no actual class yet, so. Oh, thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah. Tomorrow's an open lab for the,
Yeah, I figured I'll just be catching up because I wasn't here on.
okay.
I was a little bit ill this last week.
Yeah, I've been ill for a week and a half, I think, too.
I think I finished mostly what was the last thing I did? It was not translations, sorry.
Oh,
Math.
I know what you're talking about,
Transactions.
the common table expressions.
Table expression, table
Yeah.
functions, I think is what we were doing.
Yeah,
And then, so I got that one all finished. I just didn't, I think the reason I didn't turn it in yet is because I was gonna try the last one that you said.
oh, that's, yeah, because I never could explain it properly.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a go. Maybe I still will.
Okay.
But I'm assuming you guys are on to the next assignment. at
Yeah,
the same time,
yeah.
So I'll read up on that. Cool. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Did I ever stop the video?
No.
No, I did not.